Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at BTC. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. So in the previous video, what we were discussing is that potential that we were looking for an additional fifth wave to the downside. Now this is still viable and I am still looking for this. Potentially we could argue this could start here, but invalidation would come by this 30,335. And if we do move above that, that would invalidate the idea of this being a 1-2. Now if we fail to achieve this high point here and we fail to break through these levels, what we could see is price start to break to the downside here. Our 1.618 given our current target would be this 29,901. Now the problem that I have within this is that there wouldn't be a lot of space for this fourth wave to form. So potentially what we would be looking for is that possibility this third wave might look to extend out a bit lower here. This would actually be our target area here, this 29,771 to this 29,564 level. So this is looking for this idea of a five-wave move to the downside. Now, this could be a few things here. What we need to be on the lookout for is that if we do get something like this as a five-wave move down, any kind of a three-wave move to the upside that fails to actually push back above this 31,338 to this 30,727 could imply that we're going to see continuation to the downside. Now this could be a three-wave move where we see a move down towards this 28,925. Or alternatively, if this does look to break down deeper, we do have this area here of this 1618 at this 27,723. So we need to be careful of this idea of a bigger break to the downside here. If we did see something like this where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, potentially this could mean that we push down into some of these lower ranges here. 27,417 to this 26,963 would be potential lower targets. So we could actually see this develop into a five-wave move in this way. Now we were also talking about the possibility that at the moment we don't have a good five-wave structure. We just got three waves down here, so we need to be careful that there isn't something like this playing out where we have this as a bigger flat correction where this becomes an A, this becomes a B, and then we still see price look to move to the upside and sweep these highs, looking for the potential of coming up towards this 1618 if we come down lower. Now because we haven't actually swept this low yet, the target for this as a flat, if we had to just move up directly here, would actually be back towards this 1-to-1, which would be here towards this 31,244. So that's why I'm just on the lookout here. If we do get this additional fourth and a fifth wave to the downside, this would make a lot more sense here, where this becomes a fourth, we get a fifth wave down, potentially move down into this lower target box, and then we'd need to be careful of that idea of this as a five-wave move to the upside. Now, the key thing in here is that if we do complete this move down one more time here where we see price push to the downside, what we could then see is five waves to the upside, and this could still be corrective. So we need to be careful. If we do get a five-wave move up after this point, effectively what we need to see is a three-wave move down and then that continuation up. If we fail to do that, then it is more likely that we're going to see this continuation to the downside where we're actually looking for this bigger retracement potential, where we could say that we still got to come down deeper here, either towards this 28,693 or in between this and this 26k region. So need to be on the lookout for this, that if we do look to push down one more time here, any kind of three-wave move to the upside could indicate that continuation down. Now, there are a lot of possibilities within this area here that we discussed in yesterday's video. So if you want more information, better to go check that one out, because otherwise it's going to just be me repeating it again. In this case, though, what we're looking for is the idea that if we do see a move to the upside here, we could still see something like this, where either this B wave is still in play here and we get this as A, B, and C, and still look to push to the upside here, possibly sweeping these highs before getting another five-wave move to the downside. So just breaking these highs, we need to be careful. If we do see something like this develop to the upside here, where we see price push up in a bigger way here, potentially we could still be within this idea of this bigger B wave. So we'll have to be very careful of this. If we do see price push up into these higher zones, what we could see is that potential to see it push up into this higher level here of this 31,904 to this 32,199. So if we do see a five-wave move up into that zone and then we start to get five waves down, this would confirm this idea of this bigger ABC, except this A would actually be over here. There is many ways that we can still look at this move to the downside here. So the key thing here is, even though there's a lot of potential options here, what I'm looking for is the fact that if we do get five waves down here, what happens next is going to be important, because if we just get a 5-wave move to the downside here, and we have this as a bigger ABC pattern like this, A, B, and C, this could actually look to complete that corrective move. And what we'd be saying is that we've actually come back down deeper there, and ideally what I would like to see is this 28693 get hit. But in reality, if this is W, this is X, and we have this as a flat, then the target zone for this is between this 29714 to this 29K region. So gonna have to keep an eye on those levels. So we're gonna just focus back in on the area that we're in here. Now, there was a couple of ways we were looking at this. What we were saying is that either this could be a simple impulse from this point over here, where we look at this completing as a diagonal, in which case we're looking for this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're looking for this 5th wave to the downside. So we've actually come up and we've invalidated this idea of this blue count looking to progress directly down here, but we are still within that typical 4th wave rejection area. So going to be keeping an eye out on this. For as long as we remain below this 30,621, there is the potential that we could see price start to reject to the downside, looking for some of these lower levels in this way. Now, the alternative way of counting this is that if we do get this additional 5th wave here, we need to be careful that we don't have one more 5th wave to come. So the idea would be the same within this, except effectively after completing the yellow 5th wave, we would be on the lookout that if we do get a 3-wave move that fails to break above this 30,609 level again, looks to interact with this previous 4th wave high, we could potentially then see price look to continue to the downside. So we need to be on the lookout for this idea if we do see price look to push down in this 5th wave. If we get another 4th and a 5th, potentially this could mean we move lower down here towards this lower range, which is this 29441 to this 29160. Still not quite where I would like to come here in relation to these lows here, but would align a little bit with the idea of this bigger B wave looking to target out this lower level here. So if we do see a move down into this 29392 to this 29202 area, and we do look to find support there, we need to be careful of this bigger idea of this being a bigger A, B, and a C to the upside, just making a bigger corrective structure here, looking to come sweep these lows, moving back up, sweep these highs, and then still have continuation to the downside afterwards, where we would be looking for that possibility of the C wave looking to play out. So this is why I'm just being very cautious with what we have here. We don't have a confirmed 5-wave move at the moment. We just have a 3-wave move down. The bullish count is technically alive as long as we hold this 29,701. What we would want to see, however, for this bullish count to play out is what we need to see is this develop as a 1-2. We need to see another 1-2 here. Then we'd want to see 3, 4, 5. Then we get a 4th and a 5th, something like this. Then we'd see 3 waves back down, holding these lows, and then see this continuation to the upside. So that's ideally what we'd want to see here, because at the moment all we have is just 3 waves down. So we have met 1618, but we don't have the additional 4th and 5th yet. So going to be on the lookout that, you know, if this starts to progress to the upside in a bigger way, then effectively we could be looking for that possibility of either a C wave up, where we're looking for 32,017, or alternatively a 3rd wave if we push up high enough towards this 33,400 level. So that's going to be the key area here we're looking for our bullish count if we're looking for that upside to come in. Now, within this smaller move here, what I'm looking at the moment is this is just looking like a corrective move. Now, the way I was looking at it over here was that potentially what we could have is something like a triangle here, but now it is possible we are still within a triangle. So I haven't invalidated this yet. What we'd be still looking for here as a potential is the move up towards this 30,559 region. If we do see a move up there, this would align with the idea of our 4th wave coming in, and potentially we could see this extend out a little bit higher if it's going to come to 50%, which would be here this 30,621. So going to be on the lookout for that possibility that, you know, this C wave could still look to progress, where we form something like this, maybe as a diagonal pattern up into these levels. This 382 could also be a very interesting level if we do push up into that zone. So the only way that I would start looking at this idea as a bigger impulse is if we push up past this 30,868. Now, what I would think is more likely here is that, you know, if we are looking to form this as a impulse to the upside here, what we could then argue is that our immediate 1.618 we'd be looking for would actually be here towards this 30,574. If we do see price look to push up past that level, what we could then see is that actually what we have here is that this is 1, 2, we have another 1, 2 here, and then we look for 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5, and then we're looking for this to extend out past these levels that we are looking for here. But like I said, until we actually cross 30,868, this is just corrective in my eyes. But for as long as we continue to hold these lows here, there is the potential, like I said, that this could be 1, 2, this could be another 1, 2 here, and then we look to progress to the upside. Now the problem is that if we are looking at this as two zigzags here, effectively what we need to be on the lookout for is that we could also argue we have something like this playing out, where we could say that this is actually an A wave, this is a B wave, this is a C wave, and then we're looking for something like a triangle here. Now, we did come up higher than the typical zone that I'm looking for the C wave, which would be the 786, but we are still actually below this A wave high. Now, this A wave high would be our invalidation to the upside here. We would say if we cross this at the 30,390, this would invalidate the idea of a triangle, but we only get confirmation of this by another 3-wave move to the downside, looking for this D wave. So given our current zone here, if we were looking at this as a triangle, what I'd be looking for would either be between this, in this golden pocket here, this 30,173 to this 30,163 level, or alternatively the 786, where we actually look to see something like this, where price comes down and sort of sweeps these lows. We do have this trend line drawn off of these lows, which could also potentially align with this depending on how long this takes to play out. So like I said, we only get confirmation on this D wave, so we need to see another 3-wave move down to have more confidence in the potential that this could actually be a triangle. Now this is a triangle, could then actually be our 4th wave, where we look at this as basically a 4th wave here, and then we still get that 5th wave down. So this is why I'm saying, you know, really within the big account here, until we actually break back above this 30,621, we still have this potential for this 5th wave. Even though we've invalidated this immediate one of looking at this as a 1 and a 2, we still haven't invalidated the idea that we could still see this look to play out to the downside from either the completion of the triangle, or alternatively, if price does look to push up one more time here, what we could be looking for is this idea, like I said over here, where we are still looking for you know, this potential to see price move back to the upside here, either towards this 1-to-1 or towards this 0.618, which would be our minimum requirement we're looking for, which is also sitting quite neatly just above these highs. So if we do see something like this, where price looks to sweep this area, and then we look to break down in 5-wave moves, that would align with that idea of that 4th wave. Having a look at the daily pivots, what we can see here is that we are right above these central lines now at this 30,292 level. We did come up into these and then reject down to this R1, R2 line. Now, if we do see price look to continue to push to the upside, we do have these targets to the upside here of this 30,385. We have this 30,481. 38,577 and this 30,675 as potential targets to the upside for today. Now, if we do start to lose these central CPR lines again, potentially we could look to find support on this 30,197. But if we lose that, then possibly we still have that ability to find support at this 30,106. If we start to lose this level of this 30,106, it starts to become likely that we're going to look to test these lower levels, 30,000. And this 29,908, which would align with actually coming back into this low here. So if we do see price move down here, potentially we could look to form something like a double bottom, but just bear in mind we still have that 5th wave target potentially to the downside. Now, price can always move through these levels. The lines are very tightly spread here, which is indicating that we could potentially see volatility. Doesn't say which direction this is going to be in. We could potentially see volatility to the upside, where we form something like a 5-wave move here, or alternatively we could look to move up into some of these levels and then see price look to reject to the downside. So that's what we're looking out for today. Now, within these weekly CPR lines, what we can see is that we're currently still rejecting off the bottom end of this. If we do look to move to the upside here, we do have the potential to find resistance at this 30,454 and this 30,604 level. If we are looking at this at that possibility of having a 4th wave here, this would align with the idea of being rejected either towards this 382 or this 50% higher up. So going to be keeping an eye on that. If we do see price move up into these levels, there's a possibility we could see that rejection, and then we do have an R1 line down here towards this 29,409. Now these will get new lines printed as of tomorrow, so we need to just be aware of that. These are only going to be valid for today. And we're going to go over to the monthly now, and what we're looking for here is that we do still have this potential of this retest of this 29,683. Now this would align with our idea of actually seeing this move come down one more time here towards this fifth wave target box. So if we do see price start to break down here, effectively I'll be keeping an eye on this as a possible target, and to see whether we actually hold that as support. If we do start to lose that as support, we do have lower levels here, 28,891 and this 28,092, where we could see price move back into. This all aligns with that bigger idea of actually looking to come back down and retest some of these lower levels here, where we could look to find support within this area. So if we do look to, however, move to the upside here, we do still have monthly targets open to the upside, which is this 33,000 level. We have this 35,535, and we have this level here of this 39,633 as potential targets for this month. Now we don't always have to hit these targets. Sometimes we will just hold certain areas of support throughout the month. We just need to see how the waves actually form here and what information we get given here. Now, other targets to the downside, which would be interesting, would be this 26,374 throughout this month. This would still align with that idea of seeing something like this as a bigger breakdown here, where we look to come back into this lower channel. So this is why I'm just being cautious here. Potentially we could still see something like this develop, so gonna have to keep an eye on it to see exactly what the market shows us. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.